Hang on, is that be real? It's time to be real. I need to be real. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. As you can probably tell, we have a slight change of location for this video. I'm actually on holiday right now. I'm in Polperro in Cornwall with my family. We got here this afternoon and we have literally spent like an hour or something in our little house that we're renting for the week, and my mum has already been pooed on by a seagull. So that was a really warm welcome. I guess that's what the locals think of the tourists. So we have a week. Yeah, it's Saturday today, and we are leaving next Saturday. So yeah, a full week. I'm gonna go to the beach, go do some sightseeing, probably make a trip to St. Ives at some point in the week. Eat lots of food, always, because that is what you do on holiday. But when we're not like out sightseeing and stuff and doing all the touristy things, I kind of wanted to use this week as a little bit of a writing retreat, because I haven't really spoken about this on this channel, but I've mentioned kind of on my TikTok and on my Instagram that I am writing a book. I say I am writing a book, but I haven't actually done any writing so far. I'm still very much in kind of the planning stages of it. I've got to the point where I'm kind of, I need to start making some like proper actual decisions, like permanent big decisions for like plot and structure and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm not ready, but I think it just has to be done. So I'm gonna really try and knuckle down this week, use kind of my time off to be productive, There are like children yelling right outside right outside my window right now. It's a little bit distracting. So my kind of goal this week, by the end of this week, is to have at least started writing. I want to make a start. I don't know what like a realistic word count would be, even. I have no idea. I've never done this before. I've never written a full novel before. Most I've done is write like a 60k fan fiction. So, I mean, in terms of word count, I have no kind of set goal. I want to have at least started, made a good start, maybe written a few scenes. I want to have at least gotten something down. I want to have something to show for it, even if it is terrible and I hate it. I want to have written something. But we're gonna like start fairly small. We're gonna go out to dinner first because all I have had to eat today has been an almond croissant and a protein bar. So yeah, I am starving, running on fumes right now, slightly dizzy. But yeah, when I get back, I want to make a start. I want to start properly planning. I think what I want to do is, and I'll explain maybe a little bit more about what the book is going to be about maybe later on, but I want to kind of create a comprehensive chronological timeline, and then from that timeline work out where I'm going to start and work out what's going to be like a flashback, where to put that flashback, stuff like that, and try and from that work out like a proper plot structure that I can use to work from, and say, in a few days I can be like, today I'm going to write this specific scene and that is going to be what I'm going to do. So yeah, that is the plan. I don't know if it's really a good plan. I've no idea. I haven't written anything this big since my dissertation, and that was like 3 years ago, so wish me luck. I'm gonna go and eat something right now. I'm slightly delirious. So yeah, I will see you in a bit, I guess. I'm back. Went to dinner, had a whole load of seafood. It was great. Um, then we ended up driving to Lou to get some groceries, to the shopping. Got thoroughly soaked on the way back. Um, but yeah, feeling good. I'm honestly feeling very invigorated being by the sea. There's just something about like being by the sea and smelling the salt on the air. I don't know. Somehow it gets me waxing poetic about the ocean. I don't know. There's just something about it that just it makes me happy. My crops are watered, my skin is clear, my depression has been cured. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty positive about this week. I'm hoping that this kind of positive mindset is going to continue. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna be relatively productive. I'm gonna start working now. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take my laptop downstairs into the living room and yeah, get to work. Hello, I'm back. It's been a couple of hours. Did some work. It's pretty late, so I'm gonna be quite quiet and fairly brief, but I have managed to get done what I want to get done tonight, which is I have made a full, comprehensive, chronological timeline of everything that I want to include in my book in order. So, yeah, that's done. That is, I think, a fairly big job done, and it's gonna save you a bit of work in the future, in the near future, particularly. It means that, like, a lot of the kind of broad research has already kind of been done. I have the bare bones of it. And then I can go and research more specific things if I need to, if I want to. And yeah, that I can do when I am like in the process of writing pretty much. I'm aware that I'm still being relatively vague about what this book is going to be about. And that's for a reason, I guess. The reason is to build suspense. Um, and also I don't want to jinx anything. But I'm pretty excited. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm feeling good. And yeah, once I'm more awake, because I'm feeling very sleepy. I've been staring at a computer screen for like 2 hours straight. Um, Once I've kind of slept, I'm feeling refreshed and ready to start again tomorrow. Tomorrow, I want to use the chronological timeline to write a, a more a kind of a actual plan, a synopsis for the book, which isn't going to be chronological, because this particular book idea has been bouncing around my head for probably 5 or 6 years now, and I have made attempts at writing this book before, but I've always kind of failed because I didn't really like what I was writing from the beginning. And I think the reason I failed is because I was starting at the wrong point. I was starting at the complete, very utter beginning of the story when actually I feel like I need to start further along. This will all make sense once I actually explain what I'm writing about, but I think I will do that tomorrow when I actually have time to work out what I'm going to say. So yeah, I will explain more in due course. But right now, still feeling pretty good. It's absolutely storming outside. Like literally, slightly scared. Apparently, it's a yellow warning for wind until like tomorrow night, which is great. love holidays. But yeah, I think tomorrow we're gonna go out for coffee in the morning, and then we have Sunday roast for lunch, which is quite exciting. Um, and then yeah, I think originally the plan was to go on a nice long walk in between breakfast and lunch, but I don't see that happening right now. I think maybe save the walk for a time when the weather is a little bit better. So might find some kind of indoor activity to do. Um, but yeah, that is what's happening right now. Tonight, I'm pretty happy where I left off. So gonna stop working now. Gonna do a bit of reading before bed. I did bring a couple of books that I haven't started yet, and I told myself I was going to read The Bee Sting by Paul Murray, which is a long book, and if I'm gonna finish it, like I want to finish it this week, I should probably start it, but also I'm not in the mood right now. I am kind of craving a Greek mythology book because of reasons that will become very clear to you at some point soon. So I'm currently on the go with an arc of A Beautiful Evil by B. Fitzgerald. Oh, so excited. Yeah, very happy that I have an arc of this book. Like, if you spent any time on this channel at all, you will know how much I love B. Fitzgerald's writing and how much I have been begging for an arc of this book. And I got one on NetGalley and I've been reading it, and I'm like about halfway through, I think, and it's so good, guys. It's so good. So yeah, I think, I don't know, I just want to read something that's kind of fun, and this is definitely fun. It definitely feels like the most kind of rom-commy out of all of her books so far, which is quite exciting. But yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm gonna read a bit more now, and I will see you in the morning. I hope this update has been vaguely coherent. Honestly, I'm very sleepy, so I've no clue. But yeah, I'll see you in the morning when I'm a little bit more with it. I haven't made any progress with the writing so far today. We went out for coffee. It was nice. Then we went up for roast dinner. It's very nice. And I've just gotten back, and I'm feeling incredibly full. So yeah, I think I need to like lie on the floor for at least an hour, just to recover from it. So yeah, no progress made so far, but I have been reading, doing a lot of reading. I got up early this morning because the the housekeeper came along to push the twin beds together and make it into a king size bed, because they didn't do that before we arrived. And yeah, so that was fun. That was like not even 8 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I was awake fully. And so yeah, I've done a lot of reading. I've read quite a bit of A Beautiful Evil. I'm nearly done with it, and honestly, I want to finish it. I want to finish it today. I want to keep going. Um, well, I want to keep reading, but I also don't really want it to be over because that means no more new B. Fitzgerald for a long time. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. It's just gotten better and better. Have you ever like had this kind of experience where like you're reading a book and from the very beginning you kind of identify what could possibly be a very big plot hole, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, but like if this plot hole still remains by the end of the book, then like we're gonna have problems. So you keep reading, and eventually, what you thought was a massive plot hole is actually a setup for a massive plot twist. Like, I'm sorry I ever doubted you, B. Fitzgerald. Like, mind blown. Truly, she is 3 steps ahead of all of us. Honestly, so good, having so much fun. Yeah, well, my Kindle tells me that I have like an hour left of reading. Um, so yeah, I could definitely get this done today, this afternoon, in a single sitting. I'm going to take that hour as a challenge, and try and read it in less time than that. Um, but yeah, and then once I'm done with that, I will actually sit down and actually start working today. Gonna give myself the little treat before I start work today. Yesterday, I gave myself the little treat of reading a bit of B. Fitzgerald after I did my work last night. But yeah, today it's happening before, and then I will actually get some work done. But I just need to finish this book first because I gotta keep reading. I gotta. Good evening. I'm back. How are we? It's time, I guess, for a little debrief on day 2. Um, yeah, relatively productive, I suppose. Um, I mean, I got done what I wanted to do, but actually, I ended up not needing to do as much work in order to get what I wanted to get done, if that makes sense. So this evening, I ended up making a kind of a full timeline, I guess, of events in the order in which I kind of want them to appear in the book. Kind of. I mean, I'm still a bit hazy about like flashbacks and stuff because I don't think I will know for sure what kind of memories and things really fit in at like that point in the narrative until I actually start writing. But you know, and it's pretty flexible. Like, I think if I'm writing a scene and like if it makes sense to have some kind of memory crop up, then I can just put it in, you know? And, you know, once I have a some semblance of a first draft, if I feel like a scene would be better with a flashback, or if I think a flashback should be moved to a different scene, I can just add it in or move it. Like, this is my book. I can do what I want with it. It's, you know, that's pretty freeing, I think. I did also end up finishing A Beautiful Evil by B. Fitzgerald, which I have mentioned I got as an arc off NetGalley, which I'm incredibly grateful for. It comes out in like a couple of weeks. It will probably be out by the time I edit and upload this video onto the YouTube. And yeah, it was so good. Like, I had high expectations because I have loved every single one of B. Fitzgerald's books before, and I did say, like, when this book was announced, there is no one I trust more with a retelling of Pandora that like actually gives justice to her character more than B. Fitzgerald, because she knows how to write mythology. She knows how to write feminist retellings that are actually feminist. And like, I'm not gonna get into like a full-on review because that's not what this video is about, but it's, oh my god, it's so good. Like, read it when it comes out, please. I need more people to talk about this book with, please. Anyway, what I actually did want to talk about in this little update is actually what my book is about, because I feel like I kind of need to spill the tea in order to, you know, actually continue talking about it on this channel, I think. Because like, when I actually get into the writing stuff, if you guys don't know what I'm writing about, and then I'm gonna have to be like incredibly vague, and I think that's just boring, and I hate that, and I want to info dump. Let me info dump. So this book, if you haven't already guessed, just from what I've been talking about previously, and also because it's me, this book is a myth retelling. It's a Greek myth retelling. It specifically is a Trojan War retelling, but not just the Trojan War. It mostly focuses on the Trojan cycle, but there are also other elements. There's quite a bit about the Theban cycle. There's a little bit of the Aeneid as well, which seems kind of rogue because that is very much Roman mythology, not Greek mythology, but it makes sense. And this book is going to be told from the perspective of a character who I love, I think is really, really interesting, who appears in quite a lot of stories that seem kind of disconnected, but like, I don't know, he turns up randomly. And in my opinion, I think this character is the most underrated Greek hero in the entire Trojan cycle. Like, my guy doesn't even appear in the 2004 film Troy. That is how underrated he is, and yet he's pretty important, I'm not gonna lie. So if you are well versed in Greek mythology and the Trojan War, you'll probably by now be able to tell who this is. If you don't know anything about Greek mythology, then you're probably still like, who are you talking about? And then when I say the name, you will still be like, who are you talking about? But I'm hoping that like writing this book and sharing my research and my writing process will maybe shed some more light on this extremely underrated character that I really like. But yeah, I am going to be writing a myth retelling of the life of the Greek hero Diomedes. He is the king of Argos. He is favoured by Athena. He is kind of best friends with Odysseus during the war, but also they have a bit of a complicated relationship. We're not entirely sure if they can trust each other, but also there's a little bit of homoeroticism going on as well. So yeah, it's complicated. He is kind of a child prodigy when it comes to fighting. Like, he has seen more action by the time he's like 20 years old than most Greek men will have seen in their entire lives. Yeah, he's won a lot of battles before he even like sets foot in Troy. He does actually have the longest Aristeia, aka period of like military fighting greatness in the entire Iliad. He has an Aristeia that lasts like over a book, which is insane. Like, he is straight up obliterating the Trojans for lines and lines and lines and lines. And yeah, there are so many kind of lesser known stories and stuff that involve him that I am really excited to write about. Most of them have to do with like the missions he goes on with Odysseus, and I'm really looking forward to kind of exploring that and their relationship there, and also his kind of relationship with his father, or like his relationship with the memory of his father, because his dad, Tydeus, dies when he is 4 years old, when Diomedes is 4 years old. So he doesn't really know his father in person, but he knows the memory of his father because his father was part of the Seven Against Thebes, and he died in like a really, really dishonorable and slightly embarrassing way, which I won't get into because spoilers, but that kind of haunts Diomedes. At least in my opinion, I think it does. I don't know, a lot of these kind of thoughts are just headcanons from how I've interpreted like the canon, the source material. But I think that is what is so fun about the idea of writing a myth retelling, that also kind of doubles as a character study, is like you can just write a whole load of headcanons into your story. And because of the nature of mythology, the fact that it's an oral tradition, the fact that there are so many different interpretations and versions of each myth, means that really no one can argue that you're wrong. Unless you like completely go off the rails and say something that's completely and utterly against canon, you know, no one can say that you are completely wrong with your interpretation. It's all part of this ongoing oral tradition, and yeah, I'm looking forward to adding to that tradition in whatever way I can. Honestly, I can't believe that no one has written a book about Diomedes before, or if they have, I haven't heard of it. And if someone has written and published a book about Diomedes before, then this is slightly embarrassing. But I'm gonna write mine anyway, so deal with it. But yeah, I think I have rambled enough for tonight about my man Diomedes. Yeah, done everything I wanted to do today. I think tonight I'm going to wind down by making a start on The Beasting by Paul Murray. I did kind of toy with the idea of reading another Greek mythology retelling arc that I have, which is Natalie Haynes' new book, which is a Medea retelling, which is also very exciting. But I am actually going to do what I said I was going to do. I'm gonna be good. So yeah, I'm gonna make a start on The Beasting tonight. Wish me luck. I've heard it's very literary, and there's also a section that doesn't have any punctuation, which is interesting. I don't mind a kind of non-traditional narration style, something that's kind of unique, but I hope I'm going to be able to follow it is the only thing. And then tomorrow, I don't actually know what the plan is. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be raining. I think we might be doing potentially a day trip in the rain. I did want to go to Lou and see this kind of big secondhand bookshop that they have there, but it is closed on Mondays, and tomorrow is a Monday, so can't do that tomorrow. Might have to save that for later this week. So something else. And yeah, and then when I'm not out doing whatever I'm doing, I actually want to start writing tomorrow. I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling inspired, and I want to capitalize on that, because I don't know when I'm going to lose motivation. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to kind of keep being productive. Who knows? It's been a good while since I've done this much kind of planning and stuff, and you know, I've committed to actually doing something productive. So yeah, my kind of goal for tomorrow is write some of, if not all of, the prologue of the book. I feel like if I get something out on a page, if I have like a foundation, because I want to see the prologue as like a bit of a mission statement that introduces some of the themes and the issues that I want to talk about in the book. If I could do that, then I think that lays a pretty strong foundation for the rest of it, I think. And I want to set the prologue not at the very beginning. What I tried to do last time I attempted to write this book was set it right after the Seven Against Thebes, when Diomedes is 4 years old and he's just lost his father. And I can't do that. I don't know how to write from a 4-year-old's perspective. Who does? So instead, I want to set the prologue not right at the very beginning, but close enough, I suppose. I want to set it right after, immediately after the Battle of the Epigoni, which happens 10 years after Seven Against Thebes. It's basically all of the sons of the Seven Against Thebes reuniting and attacking Thebes and winning, unlike what their fathers did, which was essentially all die. And yeah, I want to set it there because that kind of establishes Diomedes as an experienced soldier. Like, he's 14, so he's still pretty young, but he, we don't have to go through the whole thing of him like going through all the training and also kind of gaining a personality, which happens when you're a child and 18. Like, he's kind of, he's established himself. We don't have to go through the whole origin story. I think that's also a good point to start because you do introduce the whole kind of theme of like, is there ever a good reason to go to war? Is war ever really worth it? Which is a theme that I really want to explore throughout the whole of the book, because Diomedes is essentially born to be on a battlefield. But then what happens when the battle is over? Does he just kind of go on in search of a new battle? Does he ever stop fighting? Yeah, that's a question that I want to ask and answer in the book. So yeah, that is the plan for tomorrow. I'll write the prologue. We'll see if I actually manage to do that. No idea what my kind of goal in terms of word count is. I guess I will write until I feel like it's done, and then probably cut things down afterwards. We'll see. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very excited about this nonetheless. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed so that I can get some sleep and be kind of vaguely lucid for tomorrow. I will see you then. I have a confession to make. I haven't gotten any work done today, and if I'm completely honest, I doubt that I will get any work done today before I go to bed. I have not had the best day, if I'm perfectly honest. I woke up at about 6:30 after like less than 5 hours of sleep, because these windows in this room don't have curtains, they just have blinds that are they're like the slatted blinds, so like light still gets through them, which means that this room is pretty bright as soon as the sun rises. So yeah, I was awake bright and early, couldn't get back to sleep. So yeah, pretty tired. We ended up going to Foy to have an explore. It was a bit dead, I'm not gonna lie. Very pretty, lots of hills. It's basically built into the cliffside, so like you have to basically trek up a mountain in order to get anywhere, which was interesting. Um, there is supposedly a nice indie bookshop there, but it was closed today, so that's fun. And then we kind of continued on down the coastline, ended up in a place called Mevagissey, I think, with a nice harbour. Found another bookshop, which was open, which is cool. Didn't buy anything. I'm being restrained, at least probably until we go to St Ives on Wednesday and I find a bookshop there and spend all my money. But yeah, it was pretty wet and miserable for most of today, and I'm not the best at recovering when things don't go to plan. Um, so yeah, didn't have the best day, which has kind of left me in not the best mood to be writing. I'm tired. I'm a bit sleep deprived. I have banged my head against the ceiling of this room so many times, especially today, because I have zero spatial awareness apparently. And despite the fact that I am like 5'1", I'm very short, I still think of myself as too tall for this room. I think maybe because I'm just not used to watching my head um on like low ceilings and stuff. I never have to kind of watch out for like banging my head on low things, and now that I do, I'm just, yeah, I'm not used to it. So yeah, I have banged my head so many times that I might potentially have a concussion. But yeah, I'm fine. It's all fine. So yeah, I'm gonna try not to like feel too bad about today being a not very productive day. Um, I'm holding myself accountable. I'm not lying and saying, "Oh yeah, of course I've done so much work today." I'm being honest with you guys because quite often things don't go to plan. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll be gentle with myself. So yeah, I think today is pretty much a bit of a washout. I think I'm probably going to take the evening off and just read a bit more. I've been reading this book, The Bee Sting by Paul Murray, which is chunky. I'm like 160 pages in so far, so that's what, like 25% maybe. It's fine. Actually, no, it's pretty good. I wouldn't necessarily say enjoying it, but it's a good book. It's well written, and I am interested. Um, which you know, it's a long book, so I kind of need to be interested in order to keep reading it. So yeah, I'm reading this, but like I think tonight I'm just gonna want something that is a little bit easier to read, a little bit more fun. Um, and so I'm gonna bring out the big guns. I have a copy of Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood on literally right behind my phone where I'm filming. It's literally, my phone is balanced against the book. Um, so I'm gonna start reading that. Um, I haven't read Ali Hazelwood in ages, and the last book I read by her was her Christmas short story, which I did not enjoy. So I'm hoping she redeems herself with this one. I have heard from someone who has read it that it is pretty good. I haven't read Not in Love, which I believe is kind of a story that is connected. Like this is a spin-off of that one. So I mean, I'm okay with like being spoiled for that book because I don't think I will ever read it, given the fact that I have heard it's very, very spicy. Um, so I'm okay with like being spoiled, but I don't know if I will understand what's going on from the very beginning. We'll have to see. I'm keeping an open mind. Like the book does have tropes that I'm not a huge fan of, like the whole age gap thing and like the forbidden relationship and stuff like that, and taking place during a wedding. I've read a lot of books that are centered around weddings lately. So yeah, I guess here's another one. But yeah, I just want something that is fun and easy to read. And yeah, I'm not expecting like B. Fitzgerald level romance where I'm literally crying because the characters are so perfect for each other. I just want something fun and low stakes. And that is all I ask. Something that is going to entertain me and just so I can switch my brain off for a bit. Hopefully, this will be that. And if not, I'm planning on visiting another bookshop in Lou tomorrow when we go. So I might pick up another book then. Um, Failing that, I will pick up another book in St. Ives. I might do that anyway. We'll have to see. So yeah, sorry there's been no progress on the writing front today, but things happen. I think I kind of expected that like the whole kind of family fun time thing would maybe get in the way of me holding myself up in my room and just writing. Which, I mean, that's not a bad thing. I love spending time with my family. My family, if you're watching this, I love you. And also, it stops me from like isolating myself, and shutting myself away, which isn't especially healthy if I'm doing that all the time. So, um, yeah, it's good to have a break, I suppose. And I'm gonna try and hit the ground running tomorrow. I will see you then. I'm gonna try and get some more sleep tonight. Hello, how are we? Welcome to day 3, 4. I have no idea. What year is it? Somehow, despite the fact that I actually ended up getting a reasonable amount of sleep last night, I am still absolutely exhausted. Um, so yeah, it's been rough. Um, Today we went to Lou, had a bit of a wander, tried to go to that bookshop, but it was shut. Um, so yeah, can't win these days. Did find another bookshop, but it was tiny, secondhand bookshop, and the stock was not great. I'm not gonna lie, it was filled with the kind of stuff that if it was donated at where I work, we would put it straight in recycling. So yeah, not a massive amount of luck on the book shopping front so far, but I did go in a few charity shops and I managed to find a copy of Human Acts by Han Kang in one of the charity shops, just in their little book selection. And I have been wanting to read more Han Kang. I read The Vegetarian very early on this year, and I liked the writing style, but I wasn't really vibing with the plot. So I kind of figured that maybe another book by Han Kang would be something I would enjoy more. So I have that now and will read that at some point. But yeah, so did Lou. On the way back, we went to Talon Bay, which was lovely. The drive there was absolutely terrifying because it's a very steep slope in a very narrow road, with lots of twists and turns, and there are cars coming the other way, and it was, yeah, scary times. But the actual place was lovely. It's a nice little cafe there on the front. Yeah, cute. I've had a nap. I've just woken up from my nap, hence this like bedhead going on here. And we're gonna go out for dinner now. So yeah, as you can probably tell, I have not done any writing so far today, but I think that's going to be a job for this evening. I do tend to be more productive, I think, in the evenings with writing. It was the same when I was writing essays and stuff for uni. It was the same when I write fan fiction. I usually get most of the work done in the evenings. And if that means that I have another late night, then so be it. I'm gonna get something down by the end of today, and then have a bit of a rest. So yeah, might do another update later on when I've been a bit productive. But right now, I'm gonna get ready to go outside, and we'll see you in a bit. Hello, it's late, so I'm gonna whisper. But I have made it to a page. I have written a page of text, of words. Word count is 802 right now, which, it's not a lot, but it's not nothing. I no longer have a big old blank page to work from, which is good. It did take a little bit longer than I thought it would to properly get started, because I kind of realised I needed to do a bit more research. Like, if I'm gonna write a chapter that is in Thebes, I kind of need to have an idea of what Thebes looks like, really, especially with regards to like the battle, like where the gates are placed and where everyone is kind of fighting, so like I made a map. I drew a little map of the city in my book and annotated it so that I could have kind of a decent visual picture. It's not the most accurate, really, but it does the job. And this is fiction we're writing, so it doesn't necessarily need to be extremely accurate. So yeah, I made a start on the prologue. I still need to finish the prologue. I think the rest of the prologue is fairly dialogue and plot heavy. I've done quite a bit of kind of setting stuff tonight and a bit of exposition as well, and then the rest of it I think it's a little bit of dialogue, a little bit of plot and stuff, which I quite enjoy writing, so that should be fine. I am feeling pretty good, especially now that I've actually started writing. I've put some words on the page. I'm feeling quite good about them. I mean, I'm sure when I revisit everything tomorrow, I will probably pick out a lot of stuff that I hate and I need to rewrite, but that is a job for later. The point of the first draft is just to write something down, and we can I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, there will be a bookshop there that is open and has decent stock in it, so I can maybe do a little bit of a haul for you. Um, so yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be a busy one. So I don't know how much time I'm going to have to actually write stuff, but hopefully in the evening I will be able to get stuff done. I do think I'm a little bit more productive in the evening anyway, so maybe that's a good thing. So I'm gonna get ready for bed, and I will see you at some point tomorrow. Hello, how are we? It's been a day. Went to St Ives. It was great. Had a fab time. Um, I'm very exhausted though. I did have a little bit of a nap in the car, both on the way there and on the way back. But yeah, still a little bit tired. But it's fine. And as promised, I do have some books to show you. So I'm going to do a little bit of a book haul. First, I went into a couple of charity shops and found a couple of books there. So, firstly, we have this one, The Name Drop by Susan Lee. This is a proof copy that I was very lucky to find. I think this is a young adult kind of rom com that involves mistaken identity. And yeah, it sounded really fun. And then I also found Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie, which is kind of folk horror. I've heard really good things about this. Yeah, it's been recommended by quite a lot of people. I enjoy a bit of folk horror. I enjoy a bit of eeriness. This was also published by Dead Ink, which is the same independent publisher that published Monstrilio, which I read earlier this year and loved. So yeah, definitely kind of expecting good things about this one. It's also like a pretty recent publication, and I have never found it in any charity shop ever before. So definitely a good find. And then I ended up going to what was probably the place I was most excited to go to in St Ives, which was, of course, St Ives Bookseller, which is a little indie bookshop in kind of the shopping street, the main shopping area. Um, Very small, a lot smaller than I thought it would be. Literally, it's one room that is absolutely rammed with books. Like, they have stacks of like hardbacks and special editions just in piles on tables. Um, Kind of a little bit precarious, but honestly, like, the displays are so good. It was all just very aesthetically pleasing, in a kind of maximalist way, just to try and cram as many books into the space as physically possible. It was, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So yes, the haul. I I spent quite a lot of time in the shop, and then on the way back to the car, I also spent more time in the shop as well. Um, so yeah, I got a little bit stressed, a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of books I could have chosen, but I kept it to 3 books, because I know that I barely have enough space in my suitcase as it is. So any more books I just would not have been able to fit in there at all. So I'm gonna start off with this lovely little tote bag that I got. Isn't it pretty? Well, I really like the colour. It's like a teal kind of petrol blue kind of colour with a picture of the shop on the front. Um, and I really like it. I don't have enough tote bags that are colors other than like white or beige. Pretty much all of my tote bags are very beige, so it's nice to have something that is a slightly more interesting color, you know. So yeah, I think I'll be getting a lot of use out of that bag. And then in terms of books, I got a copy of They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. Um, I have not read The Favourite, which is a pretty popular book now. Like, it published earlier this year, and the amount of like press I saw for it was insane. But I'm not massively into like sports books. If it's a sport I enjoy, like tennis, then I will absolutely read it. But other sports books, not so much. But this one sounded really interesting. It's like a kind of revenge thriller with like female rage and stuff, which is definitely right up my street. And then I also got a copy of The Will of the Many by James Islington, which I've been eyeing up for ages. Um, it got recommended to me when it was still in hardback, and it was massive. So I thought, maybe I'd wait until the paperback comes out. But even then, I'm not so sure because it looks like a long one, and it is. It is long. It's like, are there page numbers? Yeah, it's like 700 pages long, which is not the longest book I have read this year because I read A Little Life, which was over 700 pages. But the text of this one is tiny weeny. It's very small text. So I'm gonna have to like set aside an entire month to read this, I think. But it sounded interesting. Um, I heard someone describe it as like romantasy, but it's like not romantic fantasy. It's just Roman fantasy, which I mean, sign me up immediately. But yeah, anything that's like Latin inspired or like Roman Empire inspired, especially when it's like in other genres outside of historical fiction, is yeah, it really interests me. Because I am a classics nerd, obviously. So yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna put myself through this. When I'm gonna actually sit down and read it. It might be potentially a Fantasy February thing for next year. Um, it might be my kind of Everest book, my challenge book to read next year, like how this year was Little Life and last year was A Secret History. It might be this one, potentially. So yeah, I will read this at some point. No idea when, but I have a copy now. And then the last book that I got today was this one, and it's called The Summer I Ate the Rich. And I have never heard of this book before. It I think has just come out in the last few months. But the title and the cover page immediately caught my eye, and yeah, I decided I had to have it. Because for some reason I'm just into books about cannibalism.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this says about me. This is the kind of book that I am into. But it sounded fun. I enjoy a bit of horror. I enjoy a bit of unhinged female rage. It should be fun. It should be a time. So yeah, those are the books. I had fun today, which means it's time to work this evening. So yeah, I'm gonna continue on with the prologue until dinner, which should be fairly soon, I think. And then continue again tonight. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to get the prologue finished tonight. Who knows, really? I'd say I'm maybe like a third of the way through, potentially. Although I could just cut it down a lot. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. I'm completely making this up as I go along. So, yeah, who knows? I'm gonna start writing again and probably see you later on this evening for a bit of a debrief. See you then. Hello, it is later on tonight. It's about midnight, which is kind of annoying because I wanted to go to bed reasonably early tonight. But I was on quite a bit of a roll, really. Didn't really want to finish until I got to a decent point, I think. Still haven't finished the prologue, but it's okay. Current word count is we are on 2,486 words, which is quite a bit of an improvement from yesterday. Yesterday I was on like 800 something. So, yeah, that is what, 1,600 words tonight, which is not too shabby. Yeah, quite happy with that. So, yeah, made quite a bit of a dent in the prologue, and I have also just introduced a character that I think has very quickly become one of my favorite characters to write. There are literally not very many characters introduced right now. We are very early on, but I think this character that I have just introduced will be one of my favorite characters to write in the entire book, which is good because we are going to be seeing a lot of him throughout the book. Yeah, that is good. So yeah, feeling pretty good about this. I think the plan tomorrow is to leave pretty early and go to a seal sanctuary in the morning, which should be quite interesting, and then have a fairly chill, lazy afternoon, which means that I should have some time, quite a bit of time, to carry on with the writing. Potentially even finish the prologue by the end of tomorrow. I'm not going to set that in stone because I genuinely don't know how much more of the prologue I have left to go. I know what happens in it. I have a plan for like what actually happens, but in terms of like the extra exposition and the lore and the all like the descriptions and stuff, I just kind of add that as it goes along, so it could end up being quite a long one. Yeah, hopefully not because I don't want my prologue to be that long. I don't really vibe with overly long prologues that give a massive amount of exposition, because they can sometimes be a little bit boring and just be too slow pace wise. But hopefully that won't happen here. I'm not going to let it happen, at least. Yeah, if I write too much, I can just edit it down. That's the fun part about writing your own book. You can just edit stuff that you don't like. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed now, and I will see you at some point tomorrow, probably in the afternoon. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's done. The prologue is done. I have just finished it. Obviously, like, it's not perfect. It is going to require quite a lot of edits, but for a first draft, I'm actually really happy. The word count is 4,561. Um, that translates to about 6 A4 sized pages. So I don't know how many like actual book pages that would be, but I would hazard a guess at like over 10, which I think is a decent size for a prologue. I don't really want it to be much longer than that, or else I run the risk of it getting just a bit boring. But I think I've managed to strike a good balance between like plot and character kind of setup and stuff, and setting up themes, and also exposition and like stuff that you need to know before the story really starts. I fear that I might have included too many names. I might have introduced too many characters, but a lot of them like never get mentioned in the story ever again, and they're just like one-off mentions that just like throwaways. So I think it's okay if like people don't necessarily know who's who from the beginning, because there are maybe like two, potentially three major characters who are introduced that you really need to remember. So I think that I might be okay with that. Um, but yeah. So yeah, I'm I'm feeling pretty good. I honestly did not think I was going to be this productive this week. Um, but yeah, pretty happy. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go and eat some pizza now, because it is time for dinner and I am hungry. And then I'm gonna give myself the night off because I think I've done enough writing today. I've written what, like 2,000 words, which is quite a lot. Um, so yeah, gonna give myself the night off. I'm gonna read more of Problematic Summer Romance because I'm feeling in the rom com vibe. I just want an easy read, and like I'm enjoying it so far. It's like it's just fun. It is easy. But yeah, that's about it really. Yeah, gonna go have dinner, and I don't know what the plan is tomorrow. I'm probably gonna make a start on the next part of the book, but yeah, that is for later to sort out. I'm gonna go. See you then. Hello. Welcome to, I think this is day 7. Probably. It's the last day, last full day of our holiday. I'm currently being blasted with seagull calls from this side of my room and someone hammering something on this side of the room. So, yeah, it's a little bit annoying. But I need to have the windows open, otherwise it's going to get incredibly hot in here, and I don't want that. So, yeah. Anyway, we've done breakfast. Went back to Lou to pick up some bits and pieces. Um, attempted to go for a cream tea at a cafe here in Polperro, but we got completely attacked by wasps. We weren't even eating outside; we were literally eating in the cafe. It's just the door and the window were wide open, and there are about 5 or 6 wasps that just swarmed us and would not leave. Um, so yeah, we all panicked and decided to take our scones and everything back to back to the house with us, and have them there in a wasp-free environment. Um, so yeah, that was an experience. That was interesting. Um, and then I ended up finishing Problematic Summer Romance. Um, yeah, this is a book. Yeah, it's a spin-off to Not in Love. And there are also, I believe, references to characters from Deep End as well. Um, which is really fun. I love stories that are kind of interconnected and stuff, and like references and things. Obviously, I didn't really get a lot of the references, because I haven't read either of those other books, and I don't think you need to have read either of those other books in order to enjoy this one. But I don't know, it might enhance the reading experience. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, this takes place mostly in Sicily, in Italy, which is really fun because I'm pretty sure that is where Ali Hazelwood is originally from. So it's nice that she gets to write about her home, and it follows a relationship, a situationship between a younger woman, who's our protagonist, Maya, and a older man who is Maya's brother's best friend. So yeah, automatically, those are two tropes that I'm not a huge fan of: the brother's best friend trope and the age gap relationship. But you know, it was still sweet. I enjoyed the pining. Um, wasn't so much a massive fan of Connor, at least at first, because he managed to be both emotionally closed off to the point where he just doesn't allow himself to like enjoy things, um, namely his situationship with Maya, but at the same time as like denying, kind of defining that relationship as what it is, which is a relationship. He is also like extremely possessive. Like he tries to tell Maya who she can talk to and like text and stuff, which is, yeah, it's not gonna lie, a little bit of a red flag, especially if you aren't dating. Yeah, not a fan. But you know, he kind of gets over it. He does go on a pretty good character arc throughout the book. Hang on, is that be real? It's time to be real. I need to be real. I'm back. Sorry, I need to capitalize on my burials while I'm still in this very aesthetic environment and get as much as I physically can out of out of my burials, um, before I leave, because I want people to know that I am interesting and I do things and I go places. Anyway, problematic summer romance. Um, yeah, it's slightly problematic. I do have problems with it, but like it's cute. Both the characters go on a pretty decent character arc throughout. Like they grow and they 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 learn and they change and they become better people, I guess. Um it is fun. It's kind of silly. They're like the whole reason they're in Sicily is because their their brother slash best friend and his girlfriend, who are the main characters of Not in Love, they want to do a destination wedding, but the destination wedding is kind of cursed. Things keep going wrong, which is actually a really fun kind of secondary plot line. I enjoyed following that, and I enjoyed following the rest of the wedding guests who were there, who were all kind of colorful characters. That part was fun as well. Like it is just a fun book, and it's a very easy read, and I enjoyed having it to read while I have been doing kind of much more serious writing stuff about like war and death and toxic masculinity. It makes a nice kind of contrast from that. So yeah, overall, you know, it's not the best thing I've read. I do still have issues with it. It is insanely tropey, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It was fun. I still kind of enjoyed it. Not again, not my favorite Ali Hazelwood book that I have read ever, but it's still not my least favorite Ali Hazelwood book that I've read ever. So yeah, it was fun. And yeah, I would still recommend, especially if you are going on holiday. I think this is honestly the perfect holiday read if you want something that is easy and just entertaining. Something you can just kind of pick up and read for like 10 minutes while you're sat at a cafe or like on the beach. Like, this works. So yeah, problematic summer romance. Pretty good. Gonna put it over there now. I haven't done any writing so far today. I'm not feeling that motivated to do any writing today. But I'm gonna try and make a start on the next part of the book. Because I do have plans for it, and I kind of want to get to a point where I get to introduce another character who I think is going to be one of my favorite characters to write. Um, so yeah, might try and make a start on it. Um, I think I maybe have like an hour and a half before we get to go to dinner, so could do that, or I could pick the bee sting back up because I have very much been neglecting it this holiday. I read like 150 pages of it, and then I picked up Ali Hazelwood instead because it was just easier to read, and I have not opened this book since like day 2 of the holiday. It's not great. Well, the book is fine. The book is pretty good, but yeah, me ignoring it is not great. So yeah, I'm gonna either pick up my laptop or pick up the bee sting. I don't know. I'll probably do another kind of update later tonight. Um, I think today's probably going to be the last opportunity I have this holiday to work on the book. So I think I'll probably have to do that. I think we have to be out of the house by 10 um tomorrow. So yeah, I doubt I will get any work done before then. Um, and then after then, my laptop will be like packed into the car and everything. So yeah, it's fine. Like my goal this holiday was to like start the book and make a kind of a decent go of it. And like me writing the prologue, I have this foundation now that I can work from. Um, so I've done what I've set out to do, and if I can get maybe a few hundred words out today, of chapter 1, I will consider that a win. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go and do something, I guess, now, and I will see you at some point. I'm wearing a dress. I'm having so much fun. Hello, me again. Um, I have a fat headache. It could have been caused by any number of things today, but it's probably been caused by the fact that I have eaten a lot of sugar today. So yeah, really fun. I think what is probably best is if I minimize my screen time tonight, which means obviously can't really look at my laptop for long periods of time, which means that I think trying to work on the writing will probably be a little bit unsuccessful. Um, head hurts. I'm tired. Probably not capable of forming coherent sentences, let alone coherent sentences that are worth putting in a book. So, yeah, I think I might have to throw the towel in terms of writing for this holiday. Um, like I wanted to get some more done tonight, but yeah, I think I'm probably gonna have to leave it at the prologue, which I mean, that's not a bad thing. My goal for this week was always to just make a start on the book, um, which I have done, and pretty happy with what I have written. So yeah, I'm not gonna beat myself up about this. Sometimes you get headaches, and sometimes you cannot stare at a screen, and that is fine. Oh, dinner was great, by the way. Went to a place called Al Fresco, um, which is brilliant. Would highly recommend if you are in the Polaro Lou area. We don't gatekeep in this house. Yeah, really good. Would definitely recommend. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do one final update when I get home, and I am hopefully a bit more with it. But yeah, I think for now I just need to go to bed. um, I need to do some packing first, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So yeah, I will probably see you tomorrow. Hello, we are back in Kent. I'm coming to you from the edits of the video. It has been a couple of weeks since the holiday. I was gonna do like a little kind of closing out thing when I got back, but we ended up getting back really late. And then literally the day after, I was out the entire day doing something very exciting that I am legally not allowed to talk about that much yet. But I'm sure as soon as I am allowed to talk about it, I will be talking about it at length. Um, and then it was my birthday week, and it just got very chaotic and very busy. And yeah, now I'm just about done editing the video, so yeah, might as well do kind of closing statements. What is this called? No. Um, yeah, so it was a really good week, I think. I I miss being there. I miss being by the sea in a little quiet village. I thought I might have gone like a little bit stir crazy by the end of the week, but really, like, there was still stuff to do despite how small the village was. Like, I feel like we could have spent another week there, and I would have been fine. I would have been perfectly happy. Like, we're already talking about going back there at some point, um, which is quite exciting. Um, yeah, it was really nice. It was just nice to kind of be away from things, just to kind of have that time dedicated to writing and relaxing and reading. And yeah, it was nice. I finished the bee sting, by the way. Controversial opinion, but it could have been probably about half the length, and that might have made it a little bit better. Like, genuinely, it didn't start getting interesting until about 400 pages in. And then, like, the last 200 pages were great. It was interesting. It was like the stakes were getting high, the plot was starting to come together. But yeah, it was just it dragged for so much. And there were entire sections where like there was just no punctuation, and it was just so jarring, so difficult to read. And it was like genuinely, I probably would have DNF'd it had it not been one of my books on my list of 25 books to read in 2025, which meant that I had to read it. So yeah, that was fun. So something that like I didn't really realize until I started writing was that like the effect sometimes that like media you have consumed years and years ago can have on your writing without you even meaning it. Like, so in my prologue, I wrote kind of a, not quite a flashback, but like a memory of my protagonist talking about like something that he remembered from his childhood. And I wrote it. I felt pretty good about it, but then I kind of, I gave it some time and I was like, hang on, this sounds kind of familiar, but I don't know if I can place it. I just, it kept bugging me, and I kept kind of thinking about where has this idea come from in my head, and I couldn't work it out. I couldn't remember. But then like a couple of days ago, it hit me. It's Undertale. I straight up stole a plot point from Undertale. How does this even happen? This is a game that I have never even played in my life, but the Dan and Phil playthrough series that they did years ago, literally, was like a series of comfort videos for me years ago. Like fully during the pandemic, in the depths of the pandemic, I would just watch those videos. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to edit that fairly soon, um, to not steal an idea from Undertale. So yeah, it is just interesting how your brain kind of takes things and yeah, saves it for later for no real reason other than, you know, to be a minor inconvenience, I guess. But yeah, that's just me rambling. I'm gonna finish this video now. It's long enough, I'm sure. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you got to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see even more content like this. I would quite like to do a little bit more kind of writing focused content. I don't really know what to, how to like do that content or what even to do it about, but yeah, something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't mind kind of sharing my journey as an aspiring writer, I guess. Um, but yeah, let me know if you want that or what it is, what kind of content you want. I'm open to suggestions. You can also find me on YouTube. No, this is YouTube. What am I talking about? You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram and Storygraph and Blue Sky. My username on all those platforms is the same as it is here, which is @WithLivJones, for even more content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!